I would like to call on stage our special guest tonight, Simon Cades. So, welcome. A microphone.
Thank you very much.
And welcome to Shortcutz and to Amsterdam. Nice to have you here. Thank you so much for making time to come. And, well, so many things to ask you. First, you have been doing this since you're 15. And was then that you discovered that you wanted to be a filmmaker, or what happened?
Yeah, I've been making the YouTube videos since I was 15, but for a good few years before that, I think I was 11 when I made my first short film at school. And it was pretty much that first day of filming when I had a pretty good idea that this was something I was pretty serious about doing. I always liked drawing when I was growing up, making cartoons and music as well, but there was something different about working with cameras and things like that. It seemed like it was, it caught my attention, and from then on I haven't stopped.
Yeah, and you have decided to put it on YouTube. Why did you have that necessity of going online?
There were a good few people doing this kind of thing before. There were people who had careers on YouTube, but so it didn't feel like I was the first person to do it, you know. But at the same time, it's anyone can do it, right? So it's like it's the obvious choice. If you're going to make something, you may as well stick it on YouTube, even when there are 2 people watching.
Yeah.
You might as well.
And how did it pick up? Do you remember that moment that you realized, damn, this stuff is getting big? Do you have any idea?
Not really. I mean, each month would be a little bit better than the previous month, but there was a very long time when I was embarrassed about it. I wouldn't tell any of my friends because I knew they'd tease me, and it was just very small, and I just kept doing it because it was just fun to make videos and be enthusiastic about things. I think, there wasn't really any big moment. One time No Film School shared one of my videos, and that was a little bit like, oh wow, this is cool. But
and you see like the numbers going up?
A little bit. But mostly it's just very slowly, very gradually and patiently. It became a bigger part of what I do.
You have like one film that was watched more than 3 million times. Like Beyonce doesn't have music videos with so many people watching sometimes.
She definitely
No,
does.
she does, but no, but
Okay.
she has videos that have not reached this mark, and she's Beyonce. And you are working just for filmmakers, basically, and artists. So it's a niche, and inside of the niche, it got really big. Do you have like any tip how to get viral? For the good reasons, for the bad reasons, everybody can do it. But how can a person, do you have any idea, some tricks to push your films?
I don't know anything about viral, really. Viral is when things just catch and they just happen to ignite something, and I've never really experienced that. But I think the main advice for anyone who wants to make YouTube videos, I think it would be to just keep trying. I've known many people who start, and then after 3 months maybe they go, I haven't found as much success as I hoped. But you just have to really stay with it. So I think it's not very exciting, but consistency, just keep going. And even, if the only reason you're able to do that, well, you'll know if you're on the right track because you're able to do it for a very long time without any payback. And that's how you know you're doing the right topic or the right kind of work, I think, because you'll want to make it anyway, even if you're not going viral and making money and all that kind of thing.
And how does it work? Do you feel like when you post a video online, it goes immediately? It doesn't go immediately to 1 million, right? They are there marinating, and after some years, they're going to reach like a good number, right? So there's nothing that you can trigger in the beginning to know what's going on? Like, I'm going to post this, this is going to be a bomb. You have no notion of that, right?
You could spend your whole life trying to science your way into studying the trends, and some people have a pretty good idea of what they can, you know, like being here, it reminded me of Casey Neistat. He water skied or something down the canals in Amsterdam, and of course that as a concept is a visually striking image enough that you go, okay, he's made some videos before, there's an audience there, you can imagine that might be something that's popular. But to be honest, you could do all of the research you want and you'll be constantly surprised. Some of the videos that I thought, I just was like, oh, I only have a couple of hours this week, so I'm going to do something really quick, and I didn't have time, and this is going to be terrible. People love that one, and the one that you think is going to be the best, it does terribly as far as the views, so you can never be sure, and I think it's so easy to focus on those kind of things because you get all of the data. YouTube tells you about your demographics. I had a meeting with someone from YouTube and they were trying to tell me, these are your keywords, you've got to use these words more often, and it just feels very constricting and like the complete opposite of creativity. The more it's impossible really to not think about those things, I think, particularly if it becomes your job. But the best thing that I think you can do is to just, well, the thing I try and tell myself is to just focus on making the best things that I can make and not think about that stuff at all, because it's a complete mystery to everyone.
And there's of course the techniques of the title and the tags and these kind of boring things, but you can learn it quickly. There's no trick that you can share with us that can make our life really easier on YouTube, because like I'm not very good at it with shortcuts. No.
I think if you do it enough, you'll see what works. You get the perfect research is just doing it every week or whatever, and you see which ones are popular. But again, you know, the only thing I think is worth saying is like a film with the marketing. You know, if you make an amazing film and you don't try marketing it, then people won't see it. And I think it's kind of the same way with the thumbnail and the title. Like if you're going to spend 10 hours on a video, you may as well choose a title and a thumbnail that is enticing and that is relevant. But aside from that, you could just like let YouTube handle the promotion and just focus on making good stuff.
And I imagine like one video per week, like it's kind of very demanding job. It's like a really hard job, right?
I don't know if it's that hard. There were times when I was in school as well, that was challenging. Going to school and then coming home in the evenings and writing and editing and shooting. And you do have to do it all yourself because there's no money to hire anyone. But yeah, it's tough to. I think it's very easy to run out of ideas. It's very easy to feel like you have nothing more to say, or
that you have said it all, or
for me, I think it worked out well because, as you know, the thing I've always said is that I'll just share whatever I've learned that week. So this one we just watched was a time when I was feeling like I'm not good enough to make anything, and so I just decided to say that, you know, and that's what I tried to do each week. And not that I do it weekly anymore, but when I did do it every week, that was the way that I was able to keep doing it for those years. I think is to always focus on, go back to just being really honest with yourself about what you're thinking about, what interests you, and that won't stay the same. So as long as you're willing to give the audience something new each time or gradually change it, then for me that's how, if I was still making videos about lenses like I did at the beginning, I'd be so bored. But because it changed gradually over the years, to follow my interests, then I'm still interested and I've still got things to say.
And about the audience, this is YouTube. So people feel like you are not a person, you are just a channel. And some people are very nice, some people are less nice. How do you deal?
I think for me, I think I'm very lucky. I think I know every single female YouTuber that I know has a much tougher job than me with the comments, and I think because the kind of content I do, the people who look for it, they're looking to learn, and so in general the kind of attitude is like, oh, this is free and you're trying to help, so I'm not going to be mad at you if it's not perfect. But there are some tough comments, particularly on the short films that I've published, where it feels like, yeah, those hurt a little bit more.
How can you deal with it so gratefully, so nice?
The best advice I was given about this is that some people will be really nice to you, and some people will be really mean to you in the comments, and it's best not to pay too much attention to both sides of those, because there are people who will say nice things even if I make a really bad piece of work, and there are people who say bad things even if I make a really good piece of work. And what is good? Do I think it's good? I don't know. Does other people think it's good? Does it matter? So I think in general, the less you can pay attention to, try and disconnect from it a little bit. But like that one, you know, it's reasonable. It's advice. But yeah, at the end of the day, you kind of just have to.
Yeah.
You read it, and you do remember the negative ones a lot more than the positive ones.
Absolutely.
But it's just part of it.
Thank you so much, Simon, for being at Shortcutz,
Thank you
and for being in Amsterdam, and I hope to see you more often. So super nice to have you here, and all the success to the channel.
Thank you very much.
I'll be around there.